I hope this video finds you doing well. Wanted to do a pre-class video for our study on Tuesday. So here's the study guide for chapter 8. And what we're going to do, we're not learning anything new other than vocabulary for this week, but we're going to work on reading things we've already read. I have a resource here, I call it Reader's Notes on Genesis, and I thought you guys might like it. So what I did is I looked up all the words that I think you would probably have trouble with, and so what I want you to do is to read through it, where you can read through the first 5 verses. We've done that before, and so this is a chance to kind of catch up, hone your translating skills. And here I've just put some kind of biblical, theological questions to show that as we work through the Hebrew, there's going to be significant things there. And so we'll talk about all this on Tuesday. I also will have us review Exodus 21 and talk about some of the biblical theology there. I've looked up the words again for that reading. And then you probably don't need any help for the Shema, but we'll go over that. And in particular, the New Testament development of the Shema. I don't know if you know 1 Corinthians 8, 4 through 6, but many people think it's actually developing the Shema, and so we're going to look at that as we look through in Hebrew and maybe ask the question, what's Paul seeing that allows him to do this with 1 Corinthians 8, 4 through 6. The vowel charts, we're going to just look at some other explanations, and so this is more review. We're not going to test over this or anything, but we'll just go over that together. We'll review the reading. So the real thing that we're doing new on Tuesday will be the PowerPoint. And let me shift there. So we're doing 91 to 105. I do encourage you to make cards and to be reviewing these all the time. These words are used so many times. The better you get this, the easier it will be for you to read. So, avar means to pass by. Some people think that the word Hebrew may be related to this word. Here's a place where it appears in the text. And it came about as the sun was going down, that behold, a smoking fire pot, and a tanur, and a torch. So there came about darkness. Behold, a furnace of smoke and a flame of fire, which pass between these cut pieces. And this perhaps is foreshadowing God as a pillar of cloud. This is teasing us into asking, why is God the one walking between the pieces? I thought it was the inferior person in the covenant, and yet God seems to be doing all of it. So interesting verse, and it has our word avar, pass through. Ach is brother. Here's a place where it occurs, and to Rebecca there was, I think you have to supply here, there was a brother, and his name was Laban. Occurs a lot of places, so you want to do well to memorize that. Sava is the word to command, order, summon, command. And Noah did according to all which Elohim had commanded. That's a PL there. Thus he did. So very interesting passage. Cain is thus. Upon thus, Yahweh blessed, and that's actually a PL. You can't double the middle radical because it's a resh, but the Lord mightily blessed the Sabbath day and made it mega holy. Cain, thus. Nakah is strike. Perhaps I will be able to strike him, and I will be able to drive him from the land. So you see what looks like a doubled middle radical there. I think it's actually an assimilated noon, but this is actually a hifil. And let me just look up the parsing of that. So this is Numbers 22:6. Sorry, I meant to do this. Numbers 22:6. Perhaps I will be able, and this will be a hifil imperfect first common plural. So I guess technically it's we will be able to strike. And that is an assimilated noon. So a lot of verbs, when you have the first radical as a noon, they will be absorbed, if you will, in the next letter, and that letter will be doubled. And that's what's happening here. Okay, let me go back to the PowerPoint. There we are. Shalosh is 3, so I'll give you a great mnemonic device for 3. When you have these letters and they're separated by a lamed, that's 3. When they're not together, when they touch, it's 6. So when they don't touch, it's 3. When they do touch, it's 6. At least that's my mnemonic device that may help you. Here's a place where it occurs. And Enoch walked himself around with Elohim after he begot Methuselah 300 years. So it's weird that you have a singular with the plural, but standard Hebrew, 300 year, and he begot sons and daughters. So Shalosh, 3 of hundreds, I guess it's in construct there. That's why you've got the reduction of the vowel to shva. Sabah is host. Mnemonic device is Lord Sabaoth, his name. Lord of hosts is his name. Here's a wonderful passage. Joshua asked the Lord, are you for us or against us? And asked the messenger of the Lord, and he says, no, because I am the captain of the host of Yahweh. I love what famous preacher once said, God didn't come to take part in the battle, he came to take over. And so Sabah, the captain of the host of the Lord. So construct, the governing noun, and the Macaves help us see that here. All is not, Moses said to the people, you should not fear. stand firm. C, the Yeshua. Do you think there's some meta-narrative significance there? The Yeshua of the Lord, Yeshua. So that's a feminine construct why it goes from Yeshua to Yeshuath. And the accents help us there. Chamesh is 5. You may or may not know that ancient rabbinic commentary on the Torah, the 5 books of the Torah, is called a Chumash, and it's related to this word 5. Sometimes it's spelled with a CH because it's a het. Chumash, if you ever see one in a used bookstore, it's usually worth buying because it'll give you a summary of rabbinic interpretation. Here's a place where it appears. And Seth lived 5 years and 100 year. So that's weird, but they do that in their numbers. It's not how we would do it, but it's how they do it. 5, and I guess that's a construct. 5 of years and 100 year, and he begot Enosh. Od is still, or once more. Of course, I have to go to Ezekiel 36 because it's used there. And you will not take up Od again, the reproach of famine among the nations. A part of God's new covenant promise. Rosh is head. You might be able to connect it with Reshit, which means in the beginning. Rosh is head or top. So this is the proto-evangelion, and I will place enmity between you and between the woman and between your seed. So that's talking about the seed of Satan. I'm thinking of what Jesus said, you are of your father, the devil. There's a seed of the serpent. And between her seed, so there's the seed of the woman, he, that is the seed of the serpent, will, or the seed of the woman rather, he will crush you in the head, and you will crush him in the heel. And notice those words are the same words in Hebrew. I don't know what to make of that, like what the translation difference is, but it's an interesting verse. But Rosh is head. Gadol is the word great. Migdol is tower. Here's a place where it's used. I will make you into a goy gadol, into a people, a great people. Part of the Abrahamic blessing when God first meets him. Yerushalayim, it's kind of a misprinting there. I think, I don't know why it does it that way, but here's the place where it actually appears rightly. Yerushalayim. And that kind of sounds like a dual to me. Let's check it in BibleWorks. Let me go to BibleWorks, and I will transition there. And Zechariah 12:10. This is be a passage we'll study hopefully. So it says no number and no state. Let's see if Curler Baumgartner says, a quasi-dual. It looks like it's a dual, and it's written Azadul in 2 Chronicles 25:1. Um, so let me get back to our PowerPoint. So this is a fantastic verse. And I will pour out on the house of David and on the house of the one living in Jerusalem a ruach of Hain, a spirit of grace, and of Tahanunim. Can you see Hain and Tahanunim? Maybe you can hear that they're related, but it's usually translated as spirit of grace and pleas for mercy. And they will look to me, the one whom they have thrust through. This text is talking about the people piercing Yahweh. Very interesting text. And they will mourn over him. So Yahweh speaks of himself in the third person, like the mourning over a precious one, and they will be bitter over him like the bitterment over a firstborn. And I think there it means death of a firstborn. But you see Jerusalem there. Ma is what? So I think I've told you before that my Hebrew professor said Hebrew is the only language where who is he, and he is she, and me is who, and dog is fish. And so I've always said that to anybody learning Hebrew. And I had a student who spoke Hebrew, and he added one to it. He said, "What, Ma? What did you say, Ma?" Because Ma means what. So you get that little pithy saying, you can get 5 very common words. So whatever he called to it, everything which he called, which Ha'adam called the Nefesh Hayah, that was its name. He's being like Christ, the image of God, Christ as the image of God. Christ is the perfected image of God. As Adam was to pronounce judgment, to be a little picture of what God did when God said, and God saw that it was good. Jesus is, as God incarnate, is functioning as what Adam failed to do. But here he's naming things, and ultimately, he's going to recognize that Eve is different, and he's going to pronounce positive judgment over her. And Jesus, when God the Father brings the new Eve, he will pronounce a positive judgment on her, that she is bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh. Tavek means in the midst of. This is how you're going to see it. Betok. It appears in Betok and then in the construct, so in the midst of the garden. From the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, said Elohim, you are not able to eat. So this is Eve recounting what Adam had told her, and she's, of course, misquoting this slightly from it, and you will not touch it. God never said you will not touch it either. Adam had said that, or Eve added it somehow, lest you all die, not what God said. He said to Adam, you will die. So interesting verse there, but it brings up this in the midst of. And that's what we have. So thank you. Hope you have a good start of the week, and I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday.